That's right. In fact, we can make it even more intimate if you guys come in. You can bring your chair forward at least. You see how we made this like smaller circle? I don't often have more people to my left than to my right, speaking politically anyway. It's good to see everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, friends. Welcome, Cindy and Luke on Zoom. And I'd like to see if anyone is celebrating a birthday or honoring a yahrzeit, a death of a loved one, that they want to light the yahrzeit candle and or Shabbat candles for us this evening. Yes. Ellen.
You can do all of them.
I can do all of them.
Birthdays and yahrzeit.
Since we're related, my hands are your hands.
Yeah, there you go.
Give birth to them. Yes. The blessings for the candles for Shabbat on page 4 and 5 in the prayer book. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech
haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Bringing light into the world as it seems to grow darker. Maybe that's just what we're here for. Page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Bless me, barchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim kadosh baruch hu. Think of the blessings you received this week. Count a few of them, and maybe a few you'd like to share with someone in particular or people in the world. And we'll send those blessings out. Tzedchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim kadosh baruch hu. Page 15, 16, 17, we have a collection of verses from the Song of Songs, the first of the 5 scrolls in the Torah. And we're going to save that for next month because we read the Song of Songs in Passover, and they're kind of filled with sexy spring metaphors. Zoe, can you turn this? Is it without it? Okay, and tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next week, in this coming week, the holiday of Purim, we'll be reading the 5th of the 5 Megillot. So it starts with the Song of Songs with the spring, and it culminates in the story, the scroll of the book of Esther. So later on, we'll do a little conversation about Purim, and maybe it's not just for kids. And that cycle, right, of the natural world, and then overlaying onto sort of the spiral of history is part of what we're balancing when we move from a work week, which is directional and purposeful, and Shabbat, which just gets to settle and still, like the spring or the winter, stay frozen. But we can do, on page 21, the Psalms. So we have a collection of songs and poetry that are part of the Siddur on Friday night, and this Psalm 95. So I invite you, I'll do a little bit of chanting, but I invite you to look through the English or the commentary beneath the lines, see if there's a word or a phrase. Maybe it brings to mind a melody for you, and just notice what arises. Lechu neranan Adonai, nariya letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betoda, bizmirot nariya lo, ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim. Moving to page 23. Arba'im shana kut bedor. Only 40 years. Beth Ever, we got 50 on that. Va'omar amto elev avchem vehem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati be'api im yevoun el menuchati. Page 25. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo Adonai Kol haaretz Shir Adonai Baruchu Shemo Basiru Meyom Liyom Yeshuato Basiru Meyom Liyom Yeshuato. You busy people probably don't take enough time to stop and reflect and just take in what's going on in your body, in your heart. Maybe just we'll do an inventory and a few breaths before we stand and welcome the Sabbath bride. A Chazarat HaShavua, reflecting on the week. Feel the breath in the body. Give the body a chance to settle, to Sabbath, to rest. And maybe the mind and heart will follow suit. Adonai Ozeamo Itein, Adonai Yevarech et Amo Vashalom. Page 41. Beloved friend, let's go outside and welcome in the Sabbath bride. Beloved friend, let's go outside and welcome in the Sabbath bride. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Yadai yadai Let's do it as a call and response. Ready? Beloved friend, let's go outside and welcome in the Sabbath bride. Beloved friend, let's go outside and welcome in the Sabbath bride. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Page 41 again, first verse. Shamur v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Yadanda We'll go to page 47, and you can turn and face the door. Maybe the Sabbath bride will come in, whether you can see her or not. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'tzola, toch emunei am segula. And we bow to the left and to the right. Boi kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Yaranai. There we go. Let's stay standing. While we're up, we'll gather as a minyan, as a holy community. We need community, don't we? Especially when things get turbulent and uncertain in our world. So on page 57, I believe, we'll face east this time, face Jerusalem. Baruchu et Adonai Hamivorach. Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Ba. Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Ba'ed. You can have a seat. We have 2 blessings to do to prepare us to listen. What do you do when you want to prepare to listen? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Words have the power to create worlds, to make the night take over the day, and to make the day take over the night. If we remember how much power words have, our own and those of others, it might help us listen more deeply. Golelor mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Roll back the light before the darkness, and the darkness before the light. May I listen deeply enough to be an illuminator of another person's thoughts and words. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamidim lo chaleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hamari aravim. You want to waltz with your capacity to learn? Ahavat olam beitis, page 63. Let's start it over. 63. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shokveinu u'vkumeinu נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך לא תסור ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 65. See if you can listen with a wide angle. What's the auditory equivalent of a lens? Hear your own voice and try to hear every other voice in the room at the same time. Ready? Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. This passage, we're called on to recite twice a day, promises a link between listening and love. The sages ask, why did Achashverosh, the king, choose Esther, Hadassah, to be queen? Well, you might say she was just the most beautiful of all of the women of Persia. But the sages say, no, must be something more than that. For the person who is most beautiful in our eyes also reflects back to us beauty in us. And according to the Midrash, which is repeated by Vanessa Oakes in a book called Sarah Laughed, that it is Esther's ability to listen so deeply to the king that he felt honored and beautiful. And thus she was in his eyes. That her capacity to listen, and our in Pirkei Avot it is written, who is wise? One who learns from everyone. And so if she listened as if she had something to learn from this king that probably most others had written off, that would equip her to bring this listening capacity and elevate her to the Queen of Persia. Beauty is in the ear of the beholder. In the book of Esther, there's a famous line towards the end, and I think it's chapter 10 of the 10 chapters. And it is talking about how, because of this amazing events in history, Mordecai and Esther convincing the king and the Jews to stand up for themselves, to fight against those who would attack them and to actually win, that we set aside a day called Purim as an annual festival. La Yehudim hayita ora v'simcha v'sason v'ikar. And on that day, it will be for the Jews, the Yehudim, the Jews, a day of light and gladness and rejoicing with their essence. And the Hebrew word for Jews comes from the word Yehuda. And you know what else comes from the word Yehuda? Todah. What does Todah mean? Thank you, Sydney. Yes. So that phrase is saying, basically, to anyone who is grateful, you will have light and joy and gladness. Yehudim, to those who are filled with gratitude, you will have lightness and gratefulness, joy, celebration with your essence. So we're going to use the melody, a melody, for that phrase when we sing the song of freedom of our ancestors. That's on page 79, Mi Chamocha. We'll do the melody a little bit first, and then you'll join me. Yai alai lalai 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 yai lalai lalai yai lai alai lai alai lalai lalai yai lai lai lalai lalai yai lai lai alai lalai lalai yai lalai 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 yai lai 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 Yai lai lai Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh No ratihilot osef ele Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar Darba kodes ose fele Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la Yai lai 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 V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai gal Yisrael. Prayer for safety, a ground upon which to rebuild a sense of trust in ourselves, in our relationships, in our world. Hashkiveinu l'shalom. Try that. Hashkiveinu l'shalom. Again. Hashkiveinu l'shalom, l'shalom. May you lie us down for shalom, for peace sake. And may you lift us up, raise us up in the morning to renewed life. Hashkiveinu l'shalom Hamidenu lechaim, Hashkivenu shalom ve'amidenu lechaim. I'm kind of doing parts of the prayer on page 81. Hashkivenu shalom ve'amidenu lechaim. Hashkivenu shalom ve'amidenu lechaim. Ufrosalenu sukkah, sukkah shelomecha. Frosalenu sukkah, sukkah shelomecha. Page 82, I'm in the middle. This is a teaching from Mordecai Kaplan. Enable us, God, to behold meaning in the chaos of life about us and purpose in the chaos of life within us. Deliver us from the sense of futility in our strivings toward the light and the truth. Give us strength to ride safely through the maelstrom of petty cares and anxieties. May we behold things in their proper proportions and see life in its wholeness and its holiness. Page 85. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברי עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש. For 6 days we worked, God worked, and on the seventh day, God, and then we turned Shabbat into a verb, Sabbath, Shabbat, vayinafash, and became a person, ensouled, embodied, or as Arthur Waskow translates, took a breather. I spoke to the Evergreen Rotary this morning about inner peace, and I said the first key to inner peace is Shabbat. Stop. Settle. Breathe. So don't leave here until you get a chance to do that. And the next section of prayers is the silent prayer. So I think we'll just open up some space. Maybe we'll, if you want to rise, you can do that, and I'll maybe read this poem on page 88 from Sheila Peltz-Weinberg. Dear God, open the blocked passageways to you, the congealed places. Roll away the heavy stone from the well, as your servant Jacob did when he beheld his beloved Rachel. Help us open the doors of trust that had been jammed with hurt and rejection. As you open the blossoms in spring, even as you open the heavens in storm, open us to feel your great, awesome, wonderful presence. Take a few moments for silent prayer. When you're done, you can be seated. Page 107, the second verse in the transliteration, last verse of the Hebrew. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevet, ve'imu imeru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevet, ve'imu imeru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevet, ve'imu imeru, amen. Let's offer a prayer for healing, linked to this prayer for peace. I'll offer the names of those that we're aware of who are in need of healing. We send blessings of healing of body and soul and spirit to Susan Hess, Steve Bernstein, Donna Cover, Armand Mangravido, Val Robinson, Ken Larner, Diane Chorney, Bob Aaron, Norman Dickman, Devin Garola, Yusti Salzman, Mary Barton, Rich Moore, David Ginley, Nate Wallowitz, Hudson Dean, Gail Daniels, Rona Mintz, Marcia Lehman, Peshihinda Badlea, Richard Berg, Bruce Daniels, Hannah Holstein, Maddie Epstein, Robbie Glantz, Stacy Magia, Sally Korf, Don Greenberg, Lori Feldstein, Tova Pesha, Kathy Kaiser, David Desch, Howard Weinberg, Robin Chalker, Nancy Friedman, the other Steve Bernstein, Ron Salzman, Yehuda Benjamin. Other names to include. Risa Dorfman, thank you. Fred? May those we've named and those we hold in our hearts and the too many we don't know to name be granted a healing of body and spirit, and may they have the support and medical care they deserve. Vinamar, and let us say, Amen. Amen. Okay. So, Purim's next week. Aren't you excited? Even if you're over 10? So tell me, what are the features of Purim? What do we do on Purim? Grogger thing, that noisemaker, we make noise. What else do we do? Eat hamantash, and we have cookies. We twist somebody's arm into writing a parody, a Purim spiel. Yeah. So we do humor and debauchery and costumes and cookies, and doesn't it sound like a 7-year-old's birthday party? And we are told that as adults, we're supposed to drink alcohol ad shelo yada ben Haman harasha and Mordechai habaruch, until you can't tell the difference between the evil, wicked, what was his name? Boo! And the blessed Mordechai. Hip, hip, hooray! Right? So we are told that as adults, what does that mean? Well, that as adults, we're supposed to get so drunk we can't tell the difference between good and evil. What is the purpose of Purim for adults? Because let me tell you, the process of the cycle of the holidays is intentional. And Purim, the Talmud says, will be the only holiday we'll need to keep celebrating in Olam Haba, in the world to come, in the perfected world. We won't need any of the holidays, even Shabbat. The world will be peaceful, redeemed, absent of injustice, aggression, violence, but we'll still need Purim. Why? Why is Purim the most mature holiday in the Jewish cycle? I think these guys need to go back to Hebrew school, don't you think? We stumped them on the first question, right? Any ideas? What's that? Blowing off steam can't hurt, right? Okay. Little Mardi Gras, Action. Yeah, it can't hurt, especially, in the last month of winter when you're getting stir crazy and cabin fever and, right? Yeah, Helen. Mm. Ooh, I like it. Okay, so most of the holidays we're uh, trying to find moderation, a balance between one extreme and another. And this one, is there some advantage in going overboard, right? Drinking, instead of just 4 cups of wine on Passover, you drink as many, right? Yeah, Jack, what do you got? Ooh, to show yourself what you are without the good and the bad. What are you without the good and the bad? Yeah, you just are. Well, I think my usual answer to the question, why do we need Purim if the world is perfected, right? If we made it to the Olam Haba, because we'll still need the ability to laugh at ourselves, right? I mean, if you were perfect, right, you might get a little full of yourself, right? So we need the ability to laugh at ourselves, maybe especially as so-called adults, grown-ups, to laugh at ourselves. And maybe it takes, getting just that drunk to do that for some of us. The scroll of Esther, right, the 5th of those 5 scrolls and the culmination of the holiday cycle, is the only scroll, the only book in the Hebrew Bible that does not mention God's name. Which is why you can pick up the Megillah and fold it and roll it, and you can hold it with your hands. It doesn't have God's name in it. But the Hebrew, the title of the book, the narrator seems to, Esther's got a big role, but it's really Mordecai's the hero, according to the narrator. But it's called the Book of Esther. Why? So the name Esther means I will hide, right? Her name is Hadassah. Her Hebrew name is Hadassah. Her uncle says, you know what? You should enter this beauty contest or listening contest but it might not go well for you if they know you're Jewish. So let's give you, and Hadassah's a really pretty wickedly Jewish name. So you probably don't want to go there. But how about Esther, which sounds like Ishtar, which is one of the Babylonian goddesses of the morning star, Ishtar. And so when they hear Esther, they'll think Ishtar. Oh yeah, she must be one of us. But in Hebrew it means es-satera. Sater is a secret, something hidden. In Passover, God is not hidden. God is the opposite of hidden. Right? God is bringing the plagues and parting the sea and giving us manna, and it's basically all God all the time, right? Outstretched arm, hand, intervening in history, and we're nursed on manna, and then slowly we get to Mount Sinai and we have a bat mitzvah and we move through the summer and we have kind of a hard time, but we get through that, and then we build a hut and we realize, looks like this is a good thing, this life, but we're also going to die, so what do we do now? And now we're grown up. And God isn't even in our story. Or is God, right? God's not so obviously in our story anymore. Or, to put it in humanistic language, purposefulness, loving consciousness, meaning, awe, love is there, but when it's most hidden, is when we most need to seek it out. So we give you the task of trying to find God in Mardi Gras, in a debauchery party of masks and drinking and groggers and noisemakers, right? And we take everything we thought as sacred through the whole year, this scroll with fancy calligraphy, Hebrew writing on it, which during a Torah reading, we're not even supposed to stand up or sit down. We're supposed to not leave the room or exit the room. You're certainly not supposed to talk and make noise. And you take all the things that you hold sacred throughout the year and you flip them upside down. You make noise when the scroll is being read. You dress up in costumes. You're supposed to, and don't tell the kids this, you're supposed to mock the rabbi and nothing is sacred, right? And because everything is sacred. Because you don't want to be stuck into thinking that only the Torah is sacred. Only what, so-and-so says is sacred, not what anyone says is powerful. And so it's the antidote to the stuff we work on all year round to try to elevate ourselves and our community. For that forgetting that it's still our job to find it when it's hidden. There is, in coming back to the not knowing the difference between, or not being able to define or rely on the difference between good and evil. So in our Shabbat morning bagel study, Torah study, we've been talking about Amalek. And Amalek is, that name has been invoked in terms of, Gaza and Israel and the war. And so if that has a resonance for you, if it doesn't, you can ask me about it later. But there's a sort of scant reference to Amalek as a king whose army, whose people attack the helpless of the Israelites, the women, the children, the infirm, and seem to have no morality. And we are supposed to battle against them, as opposed to God intervening for us. And then it also says, so stand up and battle against Amalek. Fight for yourselves, which Esther and Mordecai have the Jewish people do as well. And we're supposed to remember to forget Amalek, which is, of course, a paradox, right? How do you remember to forget, right? Hate to love, love to hate. And so there is a role for hatred and for fighting against injustice. And even that has a limit. You have to forget it. You can't just live with the trauma that you were attacked by an Amalek or a Haman or a Hitler. And that's not an accidental line. That's or a Hamas. So I think of Purim as a reminder, especially necessary. It's maybe the most important holiday for grown-ups, because it's reminding us to get serious about play and playful about our seriousness. And that's why we let the kids take the lead, and we learn from them, and we listen to them. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we're going to rise for Aleinu, and that's on page 121, I think. Yeah. And then we'll go to 123 and 125, so you'll get all three pages. We'll use the refrain, Ein Od. There's nothing like it. Nothing like Shabbat. Nothing like the person that you are, or the person standing next to you. Nothing like Purim. in any other religion, I think. Einod, 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 Einod. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שנתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. Einod, Einod. And we do some bending and bowing. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Einod, 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 Einod. One more, 125. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Einod, 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 You may be seated. You can remain standing if you're saying Kaddish. You can find the Mourner's Kaddish on page 131. We're extending condolences to all those who have lost loved ones recently. We remember and mourn with them for Paul Kasbar, Nathan Ginn, Arnold Poppenberg Jr. That's the father of our security guard, Andy. You can express condolences to him. Kathy Corrigan, Michael Henler, Carol Gendler, Ken Zeitler, and Marty Diesenhoff. And the yard sites that we're aware of for tonight. And if I call a name that you're connected with, you can stand when I say that. Harry Bernstein, Eileen Shaw, Mickey Isaacson, Philip Ellman, Larry Winfield, Teresa Blanche Aversa, Paul Nitkin, Robert Davis, Shelley Glantz, Ronald Lehman, Charles Stendig, Jack Aaron Torf, Nathan Isaacson, Marilyn Weiner, Susan Simon, David Sanders, Nettie Sanders, Charles Weinfeld, Yeti Sterensis, Robert Jackson, Jeffrey Martin Kerzinski, Ron Wolkowitz, Janet Lehman, and Helen Prudenthal. Other names to mention for Kaddish? Okay. For Kaddish?
I would like to just add, as far as my mother, who died 27 years ago,
Mm.
that my closest friend, who was a Presbyterian minister and is of the quality we've been talking about
Mm.
tonight, he passed away yesterday,
Mm.
and I've known him for 77 years.
Wow.
We've been good friends all that
Thank you. May their memories be for a blessing. Yeah, thank you. Let's do Kaddish together. Again, page 131. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach chirutei be'amlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael bagala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. 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 You can be seated. Elizabeth, would you like to come and do some announcements? I hear we have a holiday happening next week. While she's coming, everybody has a request for a closing song.
Hello, everybody. So, as we heard about from Rabbi Jamie earlier, Purim is fast approaching. Next Friday, we will be having our spiel, and it's going to be an amazing production. And we've got salsa dancing lessons before the spiel, so be sure to come to that. And in 2 weeks, we've got our James Taylor Shabbat, where Rabbi Jamie puts prayers to James Taylor songs. It's really special, and so you guys should come to that. And coming up on April 13th, we've got our community Passover Seder. Check our website for details for that, but it's a popular event. We fill this whole room up and celebrate Passover together. So, yes. Oh, thank you. Yes. So tomorrow morning we've got Family Shabbat and we've got Bagel Table with Torah Study. Join in for that. We're still going through the book of Exodus, right? Yeah, okay. And then on Sunday, we've got a brunch, especially for folks who are new to the community. So you guys would be super welcome. Everybody would be super welcome, but you know. So please consider coming to that. Even if you've been in the community for a while, meet folks that are new. It'll be a really fun time. And yeah. It's at, Yeah, it's not here. It's at Lauren Kaufman's house, and so you need to sign up on our website in order to get the directions, which I will send out probably tomorrow. So I think that's it. Okay. Oh, from him. Okay.
Nice, welcome. Well, if you see somebody you haven't met yet, please do introduce them. And Paul and Debbie. So welcome, the first time for service tonight. Anybody else? I think everybody else is not new. All right, let's do. Anybody have a request for a closing song? That one? I don't know. Let's do. Adon olam asher mala b'terem kol yetzir nivra li'et nasa behefso kol azai melech. Page 133. Kra be'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimlok nora vehu haya vehu hove vehu yeh betifara vehu echad ve'en sheni lehamshilo lehachbira beli reshit beli tachlit velo haol Eli v'chai goali v'tzur chevli v'tzara ve'hu nisi umanos li minat kosi beyom ekra beyado afkid ruchi ve'et ishan ve'ayira ve'im ruchi Giviati Adonai li velo ira. Please do join us. We'll do Kiddush in the other room and have an oneg. And yeah, don't forget to ask Rosa about her Israel trip coming up. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom and Luke, thank you for the comment. Yes, as a reminder of the